You will never decenter men until you stop believing that the deity you worship is male.
Oh my God, did she
God,
just
No,
say
no,
that?
she
Gotta be kidding. No
ew,
way, she
what
just
the,
gotta be kidding.
what do you mean?
Hey beautiful people, how you are doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are doing fantastic. So this conversation this sister has tried, I find it very, very interesting and I want to know what you think about it. Do you think that God is a man? Do you think God is a woman? Do you think that gender should be assigned to God? I want to know your own take on this. But I actually feel like this is a very interesting conversation, especially, let me speak for myself. I grew up in a Christian background, and normally, naturally, God has we've been told that God is a man. Everything about the Bible has to do with he. Even most of the characters in the Bible, most of the disciples, they were mostly men. And I find this conversation very, very interesting, especially when we're talking about dissenting men, not hating men, dissenting men. I find this conversation very, very interesting. But this video, this question the sister has posed, or this comment the sister has posed, has strike a conversation that has made people to share their thought to think of, is God really a man? Is God a woman? Should gender be assigned to God? So let's go check out what people think about this, if they think if God is a man or not. But I also want to know what you think down in the comment section. So feel free and share your thoughts. So with that was said, let's go check it out.
You will never decenter men until you stop believing that the deity you worship is male.
No, because it's the way they really had us all feeling like a man would create life. Men, the most destructive force of.
Never decenter men until you stop believing that the deity you worship is male.
Oh, you shaking the table. This is one of the things that led to my deconstruction. When I asked the question, why do we call God a man? And why don't we call God a woman? If we're going to give God a gender, wouldn't it make sense to give God the gender of the person or the gender that actually gives life, if we're going to do that? If not, then God should be genderless. They're technically non-binary. And when I couldn't get an answer for that, and I was told that I was doing too much by asking that question, that's when I knew that it was time for me to kind of step away a little bit and dig into that more. If somebody tells you need to stop asking questions about something, you need to ask more questions and start doing more research. But I say all of that to say, part of the reason why we have such a hard time breaking away from the patriarchy is because our religion, if you're Christian, or even if you're Muslim, any Abrahamic religion, to be honest with you, is so male-centered. And then when you start thinking about that and how it affects our society, especially with patriarchy, and then you also think about that, like, why would a religion be taught that has men at the center, men as a position of power? Who would benefit the most from that? Men. And then you got to start asking yourself a question. Well, then, did men make this up? And once you get there, you're on to something.
You will never decenter men until you stop believing that the deity you worship is.
She's right. Decentering man is much more than just decentering man on the physical plane. It's about decentering the idea that God is the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. You see how they leave out woman in it, our feminine energy in it, and there cannot be a God without a female who is the creator, right? Decentering man is also about thinking that man should lead you like you are a sheep. Decentering man is also about working with your masculine energy that you have here. And so it's decentering man is not about going to the extreme, right? It's about finding the mid point. It's about coming into right relationship with your feminine energy and with your masculine energy.
You will never decenter men until you stop believing that the deity you worship is.
She's correct. And this is also why a lot of times men will tell you that they want a God-fearing woman. They don't really want a God-fearing woman. They want a man-fearing woman who would listen to whatever they say. This is part of the conditioning that has allowed every man access to women in our fertility.
You will never decenter men until you stop believing that the deity you worship is.
To all my Hindu spiritual girlies, I promise you that your practice will get much better once you erase Brahman as your creator and return to our indigenous beliefs that worshipped the sun, the planets, the rocks, the mountains, the groves as the spirits and entities of themselves. No white man created all of that. And if you thought patriarchy was brought because of colonialism, think again and look back at the Upanishads.
Decenter men until you stop believing that the deity you worship is male.
So I've been saying this. It's so fucking weird. People are like, oh yeah, we're decentering men. But no, you still think that there is only one God and this God is a male figure. And he can do no wrong. He is our father, our husband, our savior. Doesn't matter what suffering we're going through, doesn't matter what bullshit he's allowed, but he is just the overall end all say all person, and we all just worship everything about him. That doesn't make any sense. In no creature that exists on this planet is it just a woman and a woman making a baby. Like, it's very rare when that happens, but in majority of cases of life, we even have male and female trees that play a part. Like, what the fuck? But no, the creator of all, the person who makes all the decisions about them all is a man. Like, fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. This is how you create the pick me women and pick me men. The men perceive themselves as gods because the person we're all supposed to worship and submit to is a god, and telling women what their position is as a woman. Oh, you were made as an afterthought to accommodate and accompany a man, and you're just a part of him, but he is an entire being. Like, fuck out of here. Fuck out of here.
That actually gives life.
I cannot stitch the original creator's video, so I'm just going to add a clip in. If you want to go back and watch her video and the creators before her video to get a better understanding of what the hell I'm going to talk about, go ahead and do that. But just to get into it, I want to start out by saying, although I address God as a he, and I'm going to give you 3 reasons on why I do that. I do believe God is non-binary. I do not really associate God with male, female, because I believe God is everything. God is everything. It also could be the fact that as humans, we want to understand stuff that it's out of our world. You know, we want to create a connection with it. And I feel like putting a gender on God is kind of creating a connection. So that could be a reason as well. But yeah, just to get into my reasons, I'm going to start off with Jesus Christ. So we all know there's Abrahamic religion out here that believes Jesus to be God. And so that may be the reason. They've seen Jesus. He's a man. God's a he. Number 2, Adam and Eve. Believe it's because Adam was first to be on earth and he's a man, right? If it started with man, then it started with man, if that makes sense, you know. 3, my reason, this is why I address God as he. Men are supposed to be the leaders of our world, supposed to. The creator kind of hit it on the fact that why couldn't God be a woman? And to my understanding is, back in them days where religion first was introduced to the world, there were no women anything. There were no women power figures, leaders. Like, you know, it wasn't anything like that. Women had a very specific role. They played their role. It just wouldn't make sense for anybody back in those times to think, oh yeah, maybe God's a woman. Well, women don't even do nothing in this world now. So, no. Although I do see the point that the creator was getting at, it's just, that's a modern day thought for something that's not so modern. And I do think that a lot of us get confused with trying to modernize things that just don't come from our time but pass over into our time. Now, like I said, I'm only really speaking on Abrahamic religions because I don't know anything about any other religions, although I would like to know. Anybody want to drop some information, some knowledge on me and tell me their reasoning or why they think God's not a he, let me know.
You will never decenter men until you stop believing that the deity you worship is.
I'm not saying she's wrong because I can't say that, but I can share my own experience, and it's actually the opposite. You know, I used to call God a woman, and I loved it, did that for over a year, but it's the opposite for me because not caring about male validation, it's like I know I'm not getting a lot from men here on earth. So things that I need and want, I have I have a good father already, so it's not like I have an absent father, but I need something more, and that's the father above. And so, I go to God for strength, compassion, for protection, for gifts, to feel love, because I don't get that from a man. I haven't gotten that from a man here. So it's like everything that women want from a man, I get between my dad and God. I can get it from God alone, but God gave me a father too, and that's awesome. And I like this because I intercourse is a very taboo topic for me. And it's also something like even in my early 20s, I don't care to do. And I'm just leave it at that. I don't care to do it. It's not important to me right now. So other than that, like, I still experience romance. I still get treated right. And take romance however you want to take it, but I genuinely enjoy life. I also did enjoy calling God a woman because there are some things about me, about women, that are just, I'm okay living in a man's world because I am a woman in it. And that's like, it's a man's world. They're just gonna keep like reincarnating and being here, and women go to heaven. Okay, that's me just like teasing a little bit. But if I'm all for women like decentral, whatever, however you say that. Stop focusing on men. So if that's calling God a woman and saying like, oh, I'm not going to idolize God because that's why I idolize men or chase after men. Because for me, it's been, I can't get this from these earth side men. I'm gonna go to the man. And honestly, it's worked out for me. I've been giving it a genuine chance. I've been giving Jesus a chance recently. And it's been working out. So, whether you're spiritual and God's a woman, or you're religious, or you're just doing whatever it is that your heart calls you to do. And I just got a cute text. But anyways, that's basically what I'm saying. Not saying this creator is wrong. Whatever works for you works for you. Because trust me, I also did love calling God a woman when I was like, God is a woman. And like, you can see it like in nature. Like, whatever helps of you are watching this, stop focusing on men, focus on you and whatever fuels your engine. And for me, that is Jesus.
So those are people's thoughts, and I find the entire conversation very interesting because some people were agreeing, some people were disagreeing, some people were like, okay, but here is my own take on this. And before I go on, I just want to say, feel free, share your opinion, but please, please, please keep it respectful here on this channel. Here on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, we're allowed to have different opinions, but we have it in a respectful way. So feel free to share your thoughts. I would love to know what you think, even though you disagree with me. Still love to know what you think about it, and maybe you can make me see your own point of view. Okay, so here's my own thought of this. Especially the fact, like I said initially, I grew up in a Christian household, in a Christian family, and naturally, and even till now, I still call God He, Him, and regard Him as a man. And that's because that is all I know. That is all I was raised with. But coming on my personal journey that I've been doing for a couple of years now, trying to unlearn and deconstruct a lot of things that I was raised with, a lot of things I was told, a lot of things I was made believe, with some of them were not. One of the things I've come to deconstruct and accept is the fact that I don't believe in religion. I believe in God. I've said it a couple of times here on this channel, how much I believe in God, how much I believe in spirituality, I know there's an higher being up there that is looking out and playing out things. I know that. But the terms of religion, I don't believe in religion. Whether Christian, Islam, I don't believe in religion. And that's because from what I know and from history, religion is what they've used most of the times to demonize a lot of people, used to slave people, used to control people, and especially women. If you do your history and you go back to early Christians, you'll find out that there's a whole lot of backlash about the religion Christian. I'm talking about Christianity because I really went deep into Christianity. How even there was a time Christianity were not allowing women to speak in church and all that. And I see that that is not fair. And I just see religion as a male organization. That's how I see it, because everything, like if you even read the Bible and you see some of the laws that was given in the Bible and instruction in the Bible, you find that most of these things were directed to women, and most of those instructions and law favors the men. And when you learn the history behind even the Bible and even some of the stories in the Bible, it just gets you thinking, like, you know what? Okay. So for I personally, I don't believe in any Abraham religion. So with that said, do I think God is a man? I don't think God has a gender. I don't think God has a gender. But if God has to have a gender, they say, oh, pick male or female, I'll say God is a woman. And this is why I'll say God is a woman. Because if you look at the what religion, and that's why I said God, I don't think God is a gender, but let's go by what religion taught us about God. He's forgiving, He's always there for you, He loves you, He gives life. If you look those characteristics and women today, it's the same thing. God has to be a gender, then He has to be a woman. Definitely not a man. God loves endlessly. There's no condition in His love. Like he sacrificed His life. All that, the whole Jesus story. So yeah, if God has to be a gender, I would say it's a woman. But also, I also believe that this whole God is a man thing that was taught to most religion and taught to us. And I feel like that also kind of embedded to us how most women and most young girls, whether we want to accept it or not, but I feel like it also has to do with the programming, how they make our mind to always center men. Because if the Almighty and the ruler of the world is a man, why will you not equivalent the one you're saying to almost him and worshiping and want to strive to get close to him or want to have one yourself? You get what I'm saying? So I feel like that's low-key kind of embed that whole ideology where we feel like we want men, we need men and all that. But yeah, I'm here for disentrenchment as a woman. I believe that have your life, live your life on your own terms and condition. Look out for yourself. I'm not saying don't have a man. I'm not saying don't fall in love, but don't settle for the bare minimum just because you want to have a man in your life. Anyway, guys, I love to know what you think about this amazing conversation down in the comment section. Okay, but please keep it respectful as always. I also want to know what you think, so go ahead and share your thoughts. Share this video with someone that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversation. So go on and share this video. Give this video a thumbs up and smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push out my content for more people to see, and that will be you supporting this channel and supporting me. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I will see you guys in my next video. Deuces!